So thank you, Jean-David, for this presentation. So the question for this presentation and the other presentation will be possible at the end of the session, so I can continue as planned in order to complete, in a way, the presentation of Jean-David by focusing on the calculation methods after Coulomb, and especially by addressing the contribution of Boussinesq and Cacot. So the title of my presentation will be Assessment of Active and Passive Earth Pressure. What do we have to Boussinesq and Cacot? In introduction, in fact, the response to this question can seem to be very easy, since it is, in fact, directly included in these tables, where we can find in 1948, 1973, or in 1990 for the last edition, the numerical values of the active and passive earth pressure. So today these values are still fundamental because they are used both for the design of gravity wool, as it will be explained just after by Cécile Morel, especially with the limit equilibrium methods, and they are important also for the calculation of retaining walls, as it will be presented tomorrow by Pierre Schmidt with the use of the sub-break reaction methods. So in this presentation, in fact, we will try to address two main issues. So the first one will be what are the main contributions for the elaboration of these tables. And the second one will be how have these values been determined. So regarding the first issue, the first contribution, in fact, was due to Boussinesq in 1974 with this paper published in the Annales des Ponts et Chaussées, or this book published in 1876. And especially in the paper of 1874, we can find a positive introduction regarding the ranking theory, since Boussinesq speaks about an ingenious or clever method, but as you can see there in French, that the conclusion is more negative, since Boussinesq clearly highlights the limitation of the ranking theory. So more in general, he provides a strong criticism of the ranking theory, and he proposed new equation and shows in the same time that for this equation, it's not possible to have a closed form solution, an analytical solution. So based on that, in 1903, if we continue the history, there was a first contribution regarding the calculation of these pressures by Rezal with, in these tables, maybe the first table with the value of the active earth pressure that are determined by Rezal with some approximation regarding the Boussinesq equation. And here we have some values that we can recognize in terms of horizontal component. The next step after was due to Cacot, of course, in 1934 with these two equations, 1 and 2, so that are still used today in order to assess the values of the active and passive earth pressure. So it is the modern way to present the Boussinesq equation, and that in fact represents the equilibrium of this ground wedge between the wall and the ground surface, taking into account that the soil is fully splastic in this zone, so it's done through these parameters M and K. In fact, that ensures that the stress state with inclination alpha is on the Mohr circle. Here, for example, we can see that the stress inclination cannot be greater than phi. So we will come back on the equation later. What is interesting in 1934 is that Cacot proposed the first method to solve this equation, but the numerical values are still those calculated by Rezal in 1903. So after, in 1945, there was a contribution from Ravizet, and maybe it is a little bit forgotten now, but it's a very important contribution. And here the calculation principles are clearly established, as we know now, so especially by the distinction of two parts in the ground wedge. So the first part, which is related to the Rankine equilibrium, where the slip line, what we call the slip line, are straight. And a second part with the Boussinesq equilibrium, where the slip lines have a strong curvature. And the main point for Ravizet is to show that the equations proposed by Boussinesq are in fact undetermined, so it means that for any stress inclination along the wall, in fact, it's possible to find an earth pressure on the wall that ensures the equilibrium with the Rankine state. In fact, it means that we know the solution on the Rankine, on the first Rankine slip line, but it's possible for any stress inclination to find a value of the earth pressure. So it means that we have more or less an infinite values of pressure. So some values are proposed, but there is not still a systematic procedure. And finally, in 1948, 1949, we have the final contribution from Kako and Kerisel with these two equations that are completely solved based on the Ravisé consideration in their book. Kako and Kerisel, try to explain how the contributions from Ravisé was important to solve this problem. And so active and passive earth pressure are calculated for various cases in 1948, 1949, using a systematic procedure, and the first table proposed by Kako and Kerisel was presented. So what is the situation now regarding all these coefficients? So for the active earth pressures, it's interesting to note that the values are the same since 1948, and they are based on these relationships that have been proposed by Kako and Kerisel in order to find the numerical results they've obtained. So what is interesting is to note that there are two parts. The first part is the Coulomb coefficient, and the second part is a correction factor that is greater than 1. And so it means that, as it has been said this morning, in a way that the Coulomb coefficient is a low estimate of the active earth pressure, since this coefficient is always greater than 1. But it's important, for example, if we come back to the red book with the Kako-Kerisel values, this equation can be used to assess or to directly calculate the numerical values. Regarding the passive earth pressure, the situation is a little bit more complex, I would say, since according to the tables, we have different values of the passive earth pressure, so 6.44, 650, 656, which are very close to the values determined by Soforowski in 1965. So of course, these differences are negligible for the practice, and the selection of the friction angle or the selection of the stress inclination on the wall are more important, but it may be interesting to better understand how these values were determined. So to do that, we can consider this first case, so with a vertical wall and horizontal ground surface, and we can consider these two equations proposed by Boussinesq, and now with the numerical integration method, it's easy to solve the equation. So what we obtain, so as we know that on the Rankine slip line, in fact, we know the solution, so it's possible to integrate the solution from the Rankine slip line to the wall. Or if we represent the same problem in terms of stress inclination, we can start from a stress inclination equal to -phi, as we are in the passive state, and it's possible to integrate the solution and to obtain this value of the passive earth pressure. The main problem is that as the equation, in fact, are undetermined, the value that we obtain, in fact, is we obtain a value that is not important due to this problem that the equations are undetermined. So to solve this problem, Kako and Kerisel, in fact, combine weighted and unweighted ground conditions in order to select the appropriate stress inclination on the wall. And now what we can do with numerical analysis is to fix the stress inclination here on the wall equal to -phi, and after, by iteration, in fact, to determine the value of the passive earth pressure in order to ensure the continuity with the initial solution of the Rankine slip line. And so the coefficient we obtain is very close to the coefficients obtained by Kako, Kerisel, Apsi, or Sokolowski. So based on that, after it's possible to maybe better understand how the active and the passive earth pressure coefficient have been calculated. So if we consider still the case 1, for the active state, it's possible, starting from a stress inclination equal to phi, we are in the active state, to calculate for each stress inclination on the wall the value of the active earth pressure. So we can see that the values are very close to the one, of course, calculated by Kako-Kerisel. And it's interesting to note that the Kako-Kerisel values are very close for the active state to the Coulomb value. So it's something important in practice for the design. Regarding the case of the passive, for passive earth pressure, the situation is more or less the same. We start from -phi, and it's possible for each stress inclination to calculate the passive earth pressure. So for example, here for in stress inclination equal to 0, we have the well-known values equal to 3, and the values are very close to the Kako-Kerisel one. So it would be possible to address another example with an inclined wall or an inclined ground surface, and to make the same calculation and to determine all these values both for the active state and the passive state. Another strong contribution regarding the work done by Kako and Kerisel was the possibility to plot the failure mechanism, and especially the slip lines, when we have calculated the stress inclination. So we can plot the slip lines, and for the active state, we see that the slip lines are straight, so it means that it explains why the Coulomb theory and the Kako-Kerisel theory give very close results. For case 1 and for case 2, the slip lines are more or less straight. Of course, for the passive state, it's completely different, especially in the Boussinesque domain, where the curvature of the slip lines are not negligible, and it's interesting to note that we can have positive curvature, like here, or negative curvature. After, in detail, this curve is not a log spiral curve. It's due to the fact that the stress inclination in this part is not constant. If it was constant, it was a pure log spiral curve, but as it's not formally constant, it's something which is close to a log spiral, but not formally a log spiral. So to finish, more or less, a lax example in order to illustrate the work. So if we come back to the case 1, with a friction angle to 35 degrees as a stress inclination on the wall equal to minus 2/3 of phi, which is a very well-known case. With the presented method, we obtain a passive earth pressure equal to 7.77. So here the Kako-Kerisel coefficient is equal to 8. So of course, in practice, it is the same thing. But from a numerical point of view, there is some strong difference, I would say. So it can be interesting to try to calculate this coefficient by another approach. So it's what we have tried to do with using the kinematical approach of the yield analysis, so with the software Talrand developed by Simon in a similar way probably that Trendulich in 1935. It's possible, considering a log spiral, to calculate a passive earth pressure coefficient equal to 7.95. It's possible also to compare the two failure mechanisms, so failure mechanism which is very close to the Kako-Kerisel one, and the pure log spiral mechanism that we consider in the kinematical approach. But what is important, as it has been said this morning, as the kinematical approach provides an upper bound value of the passive earth pressure, probably the true value should be between 7.77 and 7.95. And so the value equal to 8 given by Kako-Kerisel might be a little bit improved in a way. So in conclusion to this work, maybe 4 main points to highlight. So the first one is that around 175 years after Coulomb, Kako and Kerisel developed another approach to assess active and passive earth pressure for weighted ground conditions. It's important, from the contribution of Boussinesque, Kerisel, and Ravizet, so along 70 years ago, so which means that regarding these two simple equations, the problem is not simple to solve this equation. Another point important is the possibility to plot the failure mechanism, so that can be compared to those considered by Coulomb, and that can explain why Coulomb is not on the safe side, both for the active earth pressure and the passive earth pressure. Today, it's possible, as we have done, to compare this failure mechanism to the kinematical approach of the yield analysis. And maybe it would be, I don't know, a good idea to use these two approaches, so both the kinematical approach and the approach provided by Boussinesque, Kako, and Kerisel, to provide some lower bound values of the passive earth pressure and upper bound values of the passive earth pressure, and let the designer decide according to the project he has to analyze to choose what is the best value. So thank you for your attention.